Keke Palmer is someone who we like on this channel, and she calls Bobbi an industry plant to her face. This interview proved to everyone that Bobbi is indeed an industry plant. And honestly, kudos to Keke Palmer for figuring it out. Not that it wasn't clear already, but during Keke's podcast, Baby, This is Keke Palmer, the actor and singer confronted Bobbi about her rise to fame and whether she was an industry plant. Quote, "There is always the industry plant gag. You're not an industry plant, right?" Keke asked. And Bobbi jokingly agreed that she was, and then admitted that she didn't quite understand the term. Bobbi said that her life would have been a lot easier if she had ties, but confirmed that she does not have any ties to the industry ahead of her success. I'm kind of calling BS there. Keke did note that the pair had the same manager and noted that Bobbi shot to fame very quickly.
Yeah, I don't have any ties though, so I would love to have had ties. I feel like my life would have been a lot easier if I had ties.
Now, this interview clip of Bobbi made people cringe in particular because her come up seems to be the easiest come up anyone has ever seen. So what does she mean she wishes that she had help? I mean, she obviously did have help because we're talking about a career that's less than a year old. I mean, even to this point, her podcast came out, like in April 2023. So what do you mean your come up? Like the come up was quick. You decided you wanted to switch from like parenting TikTok to podcaster, and then boom, you were #1 podcaster 3 episodes in. Like, really?
Don't have any ties.
Yeah.
Just have like,
well, you do feel kind of planty. We do have the same manager. So is this
I know,
isn't
that crazy?
Feels a bit planty.
This is definitely
you got here in 5 minutes. It took me 20 years.
We can always count on Keke to tell it how it is. And she's got a point. I mean, she's been in the industry for so long, and now she's interviewing someone who's had bigger guests than Keke's had, and she's been around for less than a year.
Like I said, you interviewed all these people. How did you get them on your podcast? What was the trick?
The trick, persistence.
Persistence. I mean, really, it was creative what she did. I'll pay you $300 if someone can like connect me with a big celebrity to do an interview. Drake happened to see that interview, so like it worked out in her favor. But it wasn't persistence, because that would mean grit. That would mean like long term. Like she, has been doing this podcast for 2 years. She built up that rapport, and now people want to get onto her show. It didn't happen that way. I mean, a lot of these celebrities went into a risky situation because there wasn't a lot of media for them to refer to see how this person would behave when they are being interviewed.
Yeah. And I posted a story and I was like, "Funny Marco, come on my podcast and I'll give this girl money if you do." And he was like, "Okay." And I was like, "No way." And he came to my house and he did it.
Now, I will admit that approach, it's creative, but does it seem realistic? No, I mean, not in my opinion. I don't think it does. Especially if she's out here repping with some of the biggest agents, then she's going to have those connections. I mean, Keke Palmer's manager is her manager. Keke's been in the industry for 20 years, and the same person she has running her career, someone who's been out here for a couple of months, there's something fishy.
And then then he called me one day and was like, "Look, Drake followed you." And I was like, "Oh, no way." I go look and I was like, "No way. What the hell? Like, what? I didn't follow him." Like, I was like, "This is crazy." And then he was like, "He followed you and liked our clip together." So I was like, that feels like he wants to be on my podcast. And I was like, he's not going to say yes though. I was like, there's no way if I DM him, he's going to say yes. So I waited on it like a day. I was like, and then a day, and I was like, "So when are you," I don't know what I said. I was like, "So when are you coming on my podcast?" And then it happened.
Now, I'm not going to say that's not what went down, because I wasn't there, and I believe that's how it kind of went down. But there's one thing I note that, and it's, I don't know, this is so weird, but if you notice at the end of that clip, she starts going like, "No, don't ask me on my mind." Like she kind of like, murmurs her words a little bit. She's mumbling. She's not clearly saying, and it kind of reminds me of like when I talk about certain problematic things like sex offenders or, sexual assault or crimes I don't want to say. And clearly you can kind of hear what I said, but you can't really hear what I said. And it's because I'm trying to hide what I'm saying. In my instance, is because I don't want the system to trigger it and for this video to go away. But in her instance, I feel like she's trying to kind of skip by the truth. Like, yeah, I asked him, I DM'd him on my podcast, and then he said to, come on to my show. And then I'm like, yeah. So she kind of just like skips through what exactly happened there, which makes makes me, as a viewer, think that she doesn't want to clearly and concisely say what had happened because she almost doesn't want that to be on record. That's just my little take right there. Unfortunately, Bobbi and her husband Corey filed for divorce, ending their 4-year marriage, which I want to acknowledge that we don't like divorce on this channel. We don't like splitting up. I mean, if it's the right thing, then it needs to happen, but it's sad to see a family be torn apart. Bobbi wrote on Instagram, "As sad as I am right now, I'm so thankful for the time I got to be his wife. Our girls are so lucky to have him as a father, and I'm so lucky to be co-parent with such an incredible father and person. While our relationship did not work out as husband and wife, we will always be friends, and I will always love him." In the court documents, they list irreconcilable differences as the reason why they are splitting up, so it doesn't say infidelity or anything like that. So maybe that confirms that no, she didn't sleep with Drake and, that's what messed up her marriage. I think that's pretty foolish. A lot of people speculated that Drake was the reason why she and Corey divorced, but there was even more backlash that came from her divorce, and it didn't involve Drake. It actually involved her children, because she kept telling this story on social media that her child's name was Concrete. No, I'm not joking. She would go on and say that her child's name is Concrete, and that was something that she ran with. But the divorce papers actually shared the real names of her children. That made fans hate her a bit more, because Bobbi had been claiming that her daughter's name is Concrete, but as we see in the divorce papers, her name is Isla. So was she saying that to be funny, or was it to protect her children?
Do you like her name?
It's a great name.
So I named her Concrete.
That's a hard name.
You're so funny.
Now, I would respect if it was to protect her children, but if it was part of her character, it makes me question again, where's the boundary between her character and herself? I almost feel like she needs to do throwback, but like Def Noodles when he had his little character thing, kind of define something, because it's a little confusing. Like, if you're going to be in character, you're going to talk about your real kids and give them character names? Are they in character as well? Are you protecting your kids? Because actually that's pretty smart. I mean, I would do the same thing. Either way, we're going to be keeping our eyes on Bobbi because she's going to be around for a long time. I mean, it looks like she's really established herself as a big time influencer, someone that interviews people, all of the above. So good for her. Good for her and her success. We love to see it, but we also question what is going on here. Thank you for watching this clip from the Let's Get Into It podcast. To view the full episode, visit the link listed below.